Hello everyone, Raylan Alomar here with Citadel Catholic Media. Well, we took our show on the road earlier this year. We were invited to speak to a group of families over in Lafayette, Louisiana, and we had the pleasure of meeting up in the very masculine environment of an all-field service company's tool room. We were talking about the big rocks of life and how to wisely use our time with our families. So come on in and sit back and enjoy the show. It's tool time. God bless you. Your days are numbered. My days are numbered. We all know that, but we forget. We all have a limited amount of time here on this earth. And then one day it'll be all over. We're each given 24 hours a day. The difference between those who are successful and those who suffer, and I hate to see people suffer, I really do. That's why I like to walk around and give these talks, is what they do with those 24 hours each day. And I'm going to pass out a little later. I don't want to distract from what I'm talking about. A prayer to St. Joseph, especially directed toward the men. Y'all probably have seen it before, but I really love this prayer of patron of workers. But there's a certain part of it that always kind of gets me. And it's about the middle of the prayer, toward the end almost, where he says, we're asking St. Joseph to help us to work above all with a pure intention, with detachment from ourselves, having always before my eyes the hour of death and the accounting which I must render. Accounting which I must render for time ill spent, talents unemployed, good undone, and empty pride in success, which is so fatal to the work of God. So we're going to hand the whole prayer out a little later, but we're going to have to make an account for how we use these hours we're given every day. So this is my little demonstration over here, and I've borrowed it from one of the motivational speakers, Stephen Covey. Y'all might have heard of him, and I never saw it visually, but I heard it described, and I just kind of tweaked it for my own purposes. But we have here two jars, and we'll see one of them has some sand in the bottom and then some gravel. And the sand represents those pleasures of life, almost time wasters. Some examples might be television, unnecessary telephone calls, surfing the internet, Facebook, sports. And a lot of these things are good in moderation, but in excess can take their toll. The pebbles might be some things along the lines of our hobbies, entertainment. One of the common ones might be hunting, fishing, politics, these sorts of things. Now, as I said, we're each given 24 hours in a day. Empty jar. And what typically happens, as I said, the difference between those who are successful or get what they want in life and those who end up suffering is how they fill this jar. So, and the world is always grabbing for those hours, for those minutes each day. And on a thing at a time, I listened to a lot of personal development things. Jim Rohn said, just made the point, and it stuck with me to this day. Once a second ticks off of that clock, can never be recovered. We men worry about money. Why? Because it was the duty that was thrust upon us in the Garden of Eden to provide for our families. I deal with money day in and day out, all day long. It's my job. And I have seen time and time again money lost that's recovered, sometimes tenfold, oftentimes very quickly. But time, once it's gone, is gone. Can never be recovered. So how we feel this joy, and the world starts pulling at us and wanting us to put all that sand in that jar and all the gravel. But the rocks, the big rocks, are the priorities, important things in life. And how many rocks can we fit of our priorities in the jar when it's already half or 3/4 full? Not many. And what are the things that we need to do to be successful as families? We're going to talk about some of those things right now. But if we, and as men, we're supposed to be leaders. We're supposed to have a vision. So we start the day and we plan.